Welcome back, you guys. I'm Haley,
I'm Carly.
and this is Opinion Rejected.
Today we're going to talk about Tradwives and the pros and cons of that lifestyle.
And we also get into a heated debate about Plan B.
And why we don't use them.
Stay tuned.
And why we don't use them. That's funny.
I have an opinion.
Yeah,
Me too.
OnlyFans detected. Opinion rejected.
have you seen the trend on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram of the Tradwives?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Interesting. You shared something the other day that was like living on a farm and like you have your own chickens and your own eggs. And
Yeah, but I
shit
follow
like
those
that.
accounts all the time. That's not
Those
a
are
trend.
those are Tradwives.
Oh.
Yeah, girl, those are Tradwives. It's becoming a lot more popular. It's becoming a lot more like pined after, I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot of women are like, this looks like a lovely, easy life.
Oh, wait. Is this like that ballerina girl
yeah.
that went big?
She's a Tradwife.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I
I've
did
seen
see
that.
an update on that. He
Ooh.
did build her a ballet studio. Did you know that?
No.
Because didn't he? They have like 6 kids or something. He's a
Yeah.
millionaire,
Yeah.
and he got her like an apron, and everybody was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? An
Oh.
apron?"
But that's cute if she wanted one, you know?
She said she wanted a ballet studio, and he
Oh.
got her an apron.
Oh.
Anyways, update on that one. He built her a ballet studio, so
okay,
all is good. All is well with that woman. Bless her heart. I love that for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But her husband is also a millionaire, can afford to take care of her and 6 children.
Yeah.
Good for her. You know, I love that for her. But I wanted to talk about how the Tradwife epidemic can be harmful in many ways. I've thought about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, that promotes the traditional gender roles, which is fine. Like, if that's the dynamic that you want, cool. Everyone deserves to get what they want in life. But specifically being like a stay-at-home mom, relying on a husband for income, that can be so detrimental to a woman's life. It's not even funny. Like, if you solely depend on another person financially, you're screwed if something happens.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, how would you have money for a divorce?
Oh, for like a lawyer.
You wouldn't.
See, this is why I like prenups.
Prenups are an option, for
Like,
sure.
because you could stay in there if someone cheats.
Right? You can put a
You
cheating
could
clause.
say you have to pay me this.
That is true. I think prenups are fine. You know what I mean? If that's something that you both agree on. I think that prenups that are used solely to harm the woman in the relationship are fucked up.
Well,
Like,
then I would never sign it.
right. I mean, yeah. But you're also in a different situation than a woman who is a stay-at-home mom and makes no money.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, she could go into it and be like, you know, this is fair. You know, this is all your money. I agree. You know, she's committing to the marriage for her whole life, but let's say that he turns out to be abusive or he goes and cheats or whatever. Like, the prenup really fucks you over. You don't get anything out of it. And you have nowhere to go. You have no money. You have 6 kids. You know, like,
See,
in a divorce,
yeah.
are you going to get your kids taken away? Do you have any other family to go to? You have to, first of all, go get a job when you haven't had one in God knows how long. A lot of the
Right.
stay-at-home moms, a lot of Tradwives get married super young, like right out of high school young.
Yeah.
No secondary education, no nothing. Like, you
It's
just
almost
don't
like
have anything.
You have to start your whole life over again.
Yes. And after, like, not only that, not only financially, but you've been so used to having a 2-parent household. Like, having 6 kids and having 2 people to help out is a lot different than having 6 kids and being on your own.
But not only now you have to go from being a mother to someone that works and someone else is now parenting your children.
Which would be so difficult. And that's what I think, like, a lot of women, of course, would love to be stay-at-home moms. This society just doesn't support that.
I was going to say, it's very hard for a trad wife to even be a thing now because
Right.
most households need 2 incomes.
Yes.
Which is very
Yes.
unfortunate because a lot of people aren't raising their own children and they want to be. They just can't afford to in this society.
And can barely afford to have someone else raise their children too. Like daycare's so expensive.
No, most people have realized it's actually cheaper to not have a job and stay at home and watch their kid than to have
Right.
2 incomes.
And it's like, if the economy, if your partner's job supported it and you were able to, like, of course I would support if a woman wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
I would just like to say I would love to be a stay-at-home mom with a provider. But unfortunately, that was not the life path God had for
But
me.
hey, you know, with our jobs, that was something that I wanted to touch on anyways. Like, with our jobs, we get the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? We get to stay at home and still have a banging income. Like, we don't have to rely on someone financially.
But I will say, was it our 2 episodes ago? We talked about like how I stress out every day about work and you don't.
Yes.
And so that's where I think the negative is for me is I am always every day like I need to make more, I need to make more, I
Yeah.
need to do more and do more, get more investments. And so for me, I just have a lot of stress with work while
Yeah.
I'm watching my daughter
Right.
that I wish that was gone. If I could literally just take care of my child all day long and not have to worry about finances, bills, moving,
Yeah.
building. Like there's a reason men are supposed to do one thing and women are supposed to do another. And I would love the traditional life, but unfortunately not for me apparently.
See, I feel like this is something that I think about all the time. Like, men have created that mindset and that society where men are the providers and men worry about all the finances and whatever, and then women live the easy life at home, like no job.
But it's not easy.
It's not easy, first of all. Being
It's
a parent
rewarding.
is not easy at all.
It's rewarding, but it's not easy.
Right. And it only gets harder as you have more, as your kids grow up. Like, it continues to get harder. But I also think, like, it never really was easier for women to do that, though. Like,
No. We're just biologically meant to be nurturers. And men are biologically meant to be providers, I feel like.
see, I don't even think that's the case. I don't think it's biological at all. I just think it's been systemically reinforced for generations and generations and generations.
Have you ever met a boss woman?
Yeah, girl, you.
Okay. Well, okay, I'm a good example for this. But most boss women, like, they're not satisfied.
My grandma is a boss woman.
But is she satisfied?
Yeah.
Like, truly satisfied?
I think so.
Because, like, I've met a lot of CEO women, and to get to that point, they have to sacrifice a lot. Obviously, we have a time clock. If you want to have children, you got to do it
True.
before the age of 40. And a lot of CEOs, I mean, they're in late 30s, 40s, and they're like, you know what? I had to sacrifice being a mother, relationships to get where I am. And now what? You can't even go and have kids.
Right.
And so I think,
But that's also, it shows, like, where that woman's priority is.
But
You know what
they're-
I mean? Might they want to have kids? Sure. But they prioritize their job and their income because that's what mattered most to them.
but do you
And
think
that's fine too.
But do you think that's what mattered, or that's what they felt like they had to prove something?
I mean, maybe that's the case, but at the end of the day, that was their choice.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some women don't want to have kids.
No, actually, a lot don't. When I was in Miami,
So that's why I really don't think it's a biological thing at all.
see, I do.
If anything, I think men are more biologically wired to want to have children.
they want to recreate
They want to
offspring.
create
Yeah,
children.
They want to prolong their offspring.
Yes.
Yeah, just like any other species, for sure.
But I really just think, like, it's been so reinforced for so long that we think that it's linked to gender, when I really don't think it's linked to gender at all. It's just linked to the way society has created the pathways for us. You know what I mean? Like, women weren't even allowed to have bank accounts until the 1960s.
No, I agree. We were basically
Which was
owned.
insane.
We were owned.
My grandma was alive
Yeah.
when women were allowed to open their own bank account. Like, it might look like
So was my grandma. She was 10.
like, it might look like women had it easier. They didn't have to work. They didn't have to go worry about finances. They didn't have to be the providers. but they also did not have a choice.
We had no responsibilities other than our children.
Right.
And
I think
satisfying our
that's
husband.
where, like, maybe women have something to prove now. They want to be big boss women and, you know, put off having children. Maybe it is something to prove, you know? But I'm so glad we have that option now. And I don't think, like, I think women who want to stay at home deserve to be able to do that. I think women who want to be boss CEO bitches deserve to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think, like, just because a handful of women have climbed their way up their company or whatever, I don't think a handful of women that regret that and regret not spending more time with their family, I don't think that indicates there's any, like, biological need for women to do that. You know what I mean?
See, I don't know. I think the opposite. I think that women are meant to be the mom, like nurturing. You're supposed to be just the caregiver. Because why do you think more nurses are women?
But is it a male-female thing, or is it more masculine-feminine thing? Are more feminine people more emotionally intelligent?
Yes.
So,
more
like,
feminine people.
A feminine male
Yeah. That's the type of people
could
that go
also
into,
be a nurturer.
Yeah. But I don't think it comes naturally for men, because even if you look at the court system, why is it that the mother of the babies in a custody battle almost always gets full custody or most
Well,
custody?
that's where the traditional gender roles kind of fuck men over in that sense. But it's also because men aren't expected to show up in the way that mothers are.
But also, exactly, look at families where there are no fathers. More
Right.
fathers are more likely to leave. But why is that? Because they're not as nurturing.
They're not as nurturing, but also because women are expected and taught to fulfill both roles if needed. They step up to the plate and do that. How often does a man step up to the plate and do all of the roles? Cooking, cleaning, providing, emotionally nurturing their children.
No,
Men just aren't expected to do that.
Yeah.
They're not raised in that way. We buy little girls
agree.
baby dolls all the time.
Yeah.
Why
and
don't we do
men,
the same for boys?
I mean, men are also taught very differently than women as children. Yeah, you get hurt. Okay, suck it up.
Suck it up.
Oh, girl.
Brush it off. Be
See,
tough.
it's funny because I was taught like a boy growing up, and my brothers were taught like
when I
women.
was with my brother.
Yeah, and I'm like, I thought that was the man thing, but you're telling me to suck it up right now?
There was one time me and my brother got in a little wagon and like went down a hill, like someone's driveway, but it was like a really long driveway and it was a hill, and I fell out and scraped the fuck out of my knee. I was crying. I went inside. It was his grandma. She's like my stepmom's mom.
Yeah.
And she was like, rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine. I was like, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was a boy.
No, I got tough skin real young.
No, but that's the thing. I don't think it's bad to expect the same for both genders. I think it's important that we teach emotional intelligence and like how to cater to people's emotions. I think it's important that we do that for boys. Because otherwise, like, they do grow up to be emotionally absent fathers.
Yeah, but I will say though, as far as more feminine men, like for me, I am never been attracted to that. Like I've talked to a guy once that was super like emotionally intelligent, kind of feminine though.
Yeah.
And it turned me off because I was like, I don't view you as a man. I'm like, I feel like I'm wearing the pants right now. And I don't like that.
But that's where I get so fascinated by the spectrum of femininity to masculinity.
Yeah.
Because there is like a clear distinction of like what we're looking for in a partnership. You and I are kind of similar in what we expect out of. We've talked about this as far as sexuality.
Yeah.
And in a partnership, like a life partner.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way, but like I have never wanted to be provided for. I have always just like, would it be nice to be provided for? Absolutely.
But do you think that's a fear thing? You're afraid to give someone all the control?
I don't think so. I think it's a fulfillment thing. Like I think if I
So you
didn't
need
have
your
my
own-
own thing, I wouldn't feel fulfilled.
See, I've never felt that way. I always wanted to just be a mom.
But you've also never been in that position where you're nothing but a mom.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
I feel
I
like a
guess-
lot of women
yeah.
don't get that until all they are is a mom, and then they lose their whole sense of identity.
But see, I felt that way when I had my daughter. Like right when I had her, I felt
Yeah.
like my whole life, like it was like not done, but you have a whole new identity now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then you learn
It's so different.
you can still be you with a baby.
Yeah, you piece it back together. You get your pink back. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. I think I
You get
heard
your
that
pink
like
back.
a week ago.
I love that saying. You get your pink back.
Yeah.
The mommy flamingos lose their pink when they have their little one. They give all their nutrients, everything to their baby, so they lose their pink for a little bit. But after a while, it comes back.
Yeah.
Same for us, too, in a
Yeah.
different way. But I think until you've been in that point where all you are is a wife, all you are is a mother, I don't think we understand how harmful that can be for women. And so I think, like, it's kind of just like romanticizing this life just feels disingenuous to me.
But I don't know, because I don't think Tradwives is a bad thing. I mean, I haven't seen like the
I
trends
don't think
to
it's a bad thing at all. I just think it doesn't touch on the bad subjects.
I agree that there's definitely negatives to it that, especially in our society now, we don't look at.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I've done the opposite where I've done both roles. I've been the boss woman.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I don't get fulfilled for any property I buy. I'm like,
Right.
wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, but I have to. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know all this information. I do it because to survive.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me feel anything. But when I wake up and I get to hold my daughter and like
Mhm.
make her food, that gives me purpose.
Right. But that's you.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. For me, I
Yeah.
like the trad,
Right,
like
yeah.
the traditional.
Yeah, of course. And that's fine. Like, you deserve to have that at some point. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
hope you find that. But like,
Yeah, we'll see.
I think the issue that I have with it becoming a trend is it just feels like, I mean, the same way for us, though. You can say the same way for
Yeah.
our jobs. People romanticize what we do as well without broadcasting the downsides of it.
Yes.
Same thing for the Tradwives. You know what I mean? They live on a farm and they have these cute Highland cows and they're so fluffy and so cute. And they have their own chickens and have their own eggs and they live on a shit ton of land and have the cutest little house with a wraparound porch. Am I jealous of those people? Abso-fucking-lutely. But at the same time, I mean, you don't even have to be like a super millionaire over the top Tradwife, like the girl who just got herself a ballet studio built. But like,
Right.
there's women. First of all, I'm in so many Facebook groups. It's not even funny. And like, I shit you not, I'm probably in over 100 Facebook groups. It's not funny.
That's
But
a lot.
I know. I just see something that I'm interested in. I'm like, join, period. But I'm in a stay-at-home moms Facebook group. And there are so many times that a mom will post and she's like, my husband cheated on me. I have nowhere to go. I have no money. Everything's in his name. That's another thing. Like if you're married, but
Yeah.
everything is only in their name, you are entitled to nothing. So I think you really have to think about the downsides of all these things before you go into it. And I think a lot of the women, because there are women who are taught growing up, you find a man and you rely on him. We weren't taught that.
No.
So if we want that, that's just like our personal goal. That's what we want out of a relationship. But some women really are taught that that's the way of life, the traditional family route that
And
you
then
follow.
you're only talking about like the farming life, but you're also talking about like, let's say you go date like a famous guy.
Oh,
or-
I'm talking about,
anything.
in general. Yeah.
So off of that, did you ever hear about the Tom Brady Giselle situation? When they got a divorce, he made sure everything that he ever bought was in his mother's name. So when they got divorced, she could never get anything from him. Yeah. And so when they got divorced, she got nothing.
Did she know about that?
No.
Oh my God.
And then that's sketchy because you planned that. Like you
No,
knew, if
right.
anything happened. And a lot of famous
He's
guys,
just covering his own ass.
a lot of
And at the
athletes
end
do
of
that.
the day, I understand that. I understand as an individual human being, male or female, why you would want to cover your own ass in the event that something in a marriage goes wrong. Prenups, covering your own ass. But at the same time, I just think we should promote women doing that more. The women that are Tradwives, go ahead and tell women like your backup plan. You know what I mean? If anything were to ever happen, like I have my own savings account. I have this in my name. I have whatever.
You know what I think they should do? Tradwives should get a monthly allowance. And
Some do.
And like you have that in your own account.
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you get to keep. Because
Right.
if your man's doing everything, I mean, you're working, you're
Yeah.
you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're
Mhm.
taking care of the children. I mean, imagine how much money you'd be paying someone to be a chef,
Right.
a person to come clean your house, someone
A cleaner, a nanny.
daycare. Yes,
Mhm.
that's not cheap, and you're doing it for free. And I think, yeah, for the safety reasons, financially, if anything were to ever happen, you deserve your own
Absolutely.
cut.
Absolutely. But then the scary part about that is like, it's still his money, even though he's giving it to you.
But it's not if
You
it's
know what
in
I
your
mean?
bank account.
That's true. If you have a bank account in your name, that's the kicker. Is like not a joint bank account.
No, you need
Go and open one in your name. That's the importance of
Yes.
that.
You need your separate one. He gets his separate one, and then you have a joint.
See, some of the women that, like in my stay-at-home moms groups, it breaks my heart every time I see a post like that. Like, she has no money, has nowhere to go, has no other family. They have 4 kids. She doesn't know what to do. And a lot of women are like, you need to slowly build up a savings. Like, every time you go to the grocery store, get $20 cash back. Nothing huge, but put it in your pocket, put it in your own account. And it's so sad that some women feel like they have to cheat the system in that way.
It is sad.
You know what I mean? You have to cover your own ass by being sneaky and doing whatever. Like, it shouldn't be that way. I feel like there should always be some type of plan B. Get a prenup. Get a prenup that protects your ass and not just the husband's.
Yeah, but that's the problem is, let's say they go into the relationship with no money. They don't have a lawyer to review it.
That's true, too.
That's what I think about with that. But I mean, that's where it is really hard. I mean, you got to learn your shit legally.
Right.
I mean, that's why one thing I am very grateful that I've been able to do it all on my own, because I know both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I know how the finances work. I know the best way to do it. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, you have to have your own money.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think it's harmful for young women to see that lifestyle and think it's on easy mode.
Yeah,
it's
sunshines and
just like,
rainbows. Yeah.
You have to think about so many potential downfalls of that lifestyle. Would it be amazing if you had your own bank account? If you had your own little side hustle? Like, what if you had a little Etsy shop and you crocheted things?
I always thought
Wouldn't
about
that be
doing that.
so cute?
Yeah.
But like, that would be
Run my
adorable.
own farmer's
That would be great.
market.
You know
Come
what
get
I
my
mean?
crocheted pumpkins.
That would be so cute. Stop it right now. But like,
No,
even
yeah.
something like that, I think the Tradwives that actually make it work, or even stay-at-home moms that aren't like the aesthetic type of Tradwife that's going around on social media. Talk about how your dynamic works. Talk about how you've built that for yourself, how you and your husband or your partner have made it successful, because it's not easy.
No.
It's especially, I think, what confuses me is like the conservative movement, the Republican movement really wants to hammer home the traditional family. Husband goes to work, wife watches the kids, this is how it's supposed to be. But there's no incentive to do that.
My thing is, if they want to do that, the legal system has to also support it.
Right.
Like, it has to be on both sides.
Yeah.
You can't, because in that way, the legal system is helping out men.
Yeah.
And it's fucking over women.
Exactly.
The only time women win in the court is when it's about children.
Yeah. Which is also like, that's sad for the men, you know what I mean? But like, even capable men that could have the kids on their own, as long as the mom is also capable, like, there's a really low chance of you getting sole custody of your children. You know what I mean? Or even 50-50. And that's a whole different thing. That fucks kids up. But whatever.
Yeah.
We won't even get into that. But I think like the traditional gender expectations, or expectations, especially as a parent, kind of fuck over men because they're not as connected with their children. Lots of women talk about being the default parent. Mm-hmm. And how that's so difficult. It's difficult being the parent that your kids always go to. It's difficult being the one expected to keep up with doctor's appointments and your kids' friends and their moms and school meetings and all types of shit. Like, you're the one that they rely on for all of that stuff. But that also fucks the man over, because in the event that, like, what if the wife died? You don't know how to do any of that. You're incapable.
That is very true. I know. I always think about, like,
it's difficult on both sides. That's why I think the traditional gender roles, would it be ideal, like, for someone who...
In a perfect world and
Right.
everything went right. Yeah.
Yes. And if that's fulfilling for both people involved,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, I would 100% support it. But, like, in today's day and age, there's just so many things that it would just be more beneficial if the traditional gender roles were taught 50-50. Like, you need to learn how to... I wish I would have learned how to fucking change my oil or change a tire.
Yeah, I don't care enough. I take it to the shop.
But I wish I would have been taught that. Like, I know I'm a girl. I'm just a girl.
See,
but it would be nice to know how to do those things, because in the event that I don't know what the fuck to do, I'm just fucked. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? I had to have my daddy come out and change my headlight, like, when I was into high school.
But see, I don't know, because
He showed me how to do it, but do I
don't
remember? No.
I don't want to know everything, because then it's like, then you don't ever need someone.
I know, but I think that's important. That's just how I was raised, though. I think it's important to not need someone.
I agree, but because that's also how I was raised. But I
Yeah.
also wish I could want to need someone.
But I think if you're given the opportunity, like, a lot of women have talked about, once they're in a relationship, they become a soft girl. They become very much more in their feminine mode. And I think that's what would happen with you. Like, you know, the trend going around, like, I'm just a girl. Like, you know, taking out the trash, that's stupid. You're capable of doing it.
You know, I'll purposely...
You do it if you need to.
I'll purposely hit curbs when I'm driving, just because I'm like, just a girl. No, I'm not even
purposely
kidding.
hit
I literally
curbs.
do. I'll be turning.
Shut up.
And I drive a big ass car. I'm like, you know what? I just feel like hitting a curb right now.
What?
I'm not even kidding. That's my feminine way of driving. I'm like, I just want to hit a curb. And I'll hit the curb.
Why do you...
My cousin laughs at me so many times. She's like, girl, what the hell? I'm like, I haven't hit one in a while.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, you heard it here first. Women hit curbs on purpose.
I do, for sure.
That's
Like,
so funny.
and then if a guy sees me, I'm like, just a girl.
No, I hit a couple of curbs the other day and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's very rare that I hit curbs. I'm a very good driver. But the other day, I hit multiple curbs within a 10-minute span. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me right now? Oh my God. But anyways, you know, I'm just a girl. I think that trend was kind of stupid, because it's like, are we just girls? Yes. Are these things that we are capable of doing? 100%. Do we want to do them? No.
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
I refuse
you
to
know
learn
what
how
I
to.
mean? It's not because we can't. It's because we don't fucking want to.
I want someone else
That's
to do
where
something.
I think having a partner is really nice. Like, I am super blessed with my husband, because it's kind of unspoken. Like, it's not like traditional gender roles, but we have a dynamic that works for us. You know what I mean? He is very motivated to be a provider. But, like, obviously he doesn't have to do that right now. You know what I mean? So, like, he's working on his career. He's doing what he needs to do. And is that the goal at the end of the day? Sure. But, like, I have never set that expectation for him. That was never my plan.
Yeah.
To be provided for and, like, be a stay-at-home mom. Now, would I love to do that? 100%. But I have always been prepared to not do that.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, even after OnlyFans, like, I've got a backup plan. I have a college degree. That's why I stayed in college. You know, I had the opportunity when I was in college to be in a content house in LA.
Oh my God.
Did
I
you
was
know
asked. No, but which one? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
I'm going to say I was asked to be one in Miami.
I was asked to be in one in LA, and I told my grandma about it, and I was like, you know, it would be sick. It would be so cool. But alas, I was in college, and I made sure that I had my plan B intact, you know, because I can't be on OnlyFans forever, and I understand that. So I do have my plan B ready.
So you know what's funny? I don't believe in plan Bs.
At all?
Nope. I'm a big, you either have a plan or you keep going for the plan. Because if you always, my thing is, if I only have a plan A, my only option is plan A. If I give myself an option to fail plan A, I have the option to fail.
That's true.
I'm not allowed to fail plan A.
But
only.
That's funny, because a prenup is a plan B.
No, a prenup is so no one robs me.
A plan B.
I never said I trust that a man would stay with me. I never said that was plan A.
Plan A is the marriage. Plan B is the
But
prenup.
that's if I get married.
But you intend to get married.
I don't know.
In the event that you do get married, will you have a prenup?
I think it depends on the dude's finances.
You
But
believe
no,
in plan Bs.
I would have to because of my daughter. I would have to get a prenup.
Okay. Well, there's your plan B. You're not against plan Bs.
But I don't see that as a plan B.
It
I
is,
think that's
though.
a legal setup for plan A.
If plan A does not go as planned, plan B is the prenup. That's your safety net.
See, I don't see it that way.
That's what it is.
Mm.
But that's how some people feel about prenups. Is like, I don't want a plan B because plan A is going to work. That's why some people refuse to get prenups. They're like, no, the marriage is going to work. I don't need the plan B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anywho, you're right.
Okay, I only
Anyways.
believe in plan Bs with men. That's the finances, work. I only believe in plan As.
And that's fair. And I think about all the time if I had just gone balls to the wall when I had the opportunity, like on TikTok and whatever, if I had just dropped out and like gone for it,
Yeah.
where would I be now? You know, if I had
Yeah.
moved out of Kentucky, if I had just gone for it,
Been in a sway boy.
you know,
Hype house.
like it would have been a much different situation.
Yeah.
But would that situation have been fulfilling for me?
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, what I went to school for, very fulfilling to me, very interesting to me. And I'm so glad that I did that. I probably wouldn't have met my husband. That relationship is fulfilling for me. My baby is fulfilling to me. So, you know, in that case, could I have been, you know, in a whole completely different place? Sure. But my plan B worked out for me. So
I was gonna say everything
I have
happened
that
for
to
a
fall
reason.
back on, you know? But yeah, anyways, at the end of the day, I think women should be able to do whatever they want to do in life. If you want to be a tradwife, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, go for it. Do whatever your heart desires. If you don't want to have kids, if you want to be a boss bitch making your own money, if you want the dad to be a stay-at-home dad, fucking go for it. Love that for you. Hope the man is emotionally intelligent and can connect with his children in that way. You know, God bless you guys. But I just think everyone going into something, especially a marriage, spending your life with someone, you have to think about the what ifs. You have to think about the downsides. You have to have a plan B.
With marriage.
With marriage.
That's about it.
But just remember, you know, when you're seeing these tradwives on TikTok and whatever, they're not showing you the downsides. They're not showing you if their husband's cheating on them and they can do nothing about it. You know what I mean? They're not showing you that they don't have any money in their own name. They're not showing you that the house is in their husband's name. They're not showing you that in the event of a divorce, they have nothing. So just think about that.
But some tradwives do make them put the house in the woman's name.
And good for them. They absolutely should.
They're smart.
100% should.
Yeah.
Okay. But you know, just wanted to get that out there. It's been on my brain because, you know, as much as I don't want to glorify what we do to young women, I also don't want them to see that being romanticized and glorified and not think critically about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it was an interesting conversation to have.
I agree.
And I know most of our viewers are men, so I'm sorry if this was super boring for you, but
No, I think they're interested because a lot of guys ask me, like, oh, I'd be your stay-at-home
yeah.
man. I'm like, I don't want that.
So now you know. We're not looking for stay-at-home dads. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No thanks. I want to be that.
All right, well, this has been Opinion Rejected. Thank you so much for listening. As always, like, subscribe, follow Opinion Rejected on YouTube, Opinion Rejected on Spotify, our Opinion Rejected Twitter, Instagram, all of that is in the description. My Instagram is in the description. Carly's is in the description. Most of our social medias are linked below, so if you want to follow us on there, go for it. And thanks for the supports.
Yep. See you next week.